Everyone, I discovered this treasure on my shelf, and I believe I bought this in 2011. I did look online, it's no longer available, but if you ever see one of these in a used bookstore or maybe on Etsy, eBay, you might want to grab it because it's pretty fantastic. I didn't have a chance to use it that much because I didn't have enough tarot friends to play with. But this is a tarot board game. So this is the box that it comes in, and it does indicate it's going to teach you intuitive card reading to experienced and novice players. You can use this as a meditation tool. I think I used it that way for myself because I didn't have people that would be willing to share, I guess, going through tarot cards and the insights that it can provide when I had this first purchased. So you get your 78 cards, yes, but you can bring your deck of choice to it. And if you were doing this with a group of friends, they could each bring their own deck. You don't have to just rely on what's given here because they're very rudimentary as far as the cards go. And as it says, use your own tarot deck. That is a bonus. And you could change that up, but you could keep one in here as well. So when we open it up, inside was the board game, yes, but you also get these sections of cards. And those three, I've pulled one out from each so that you could get a look at them. And if I was using this on a regular basis, because you can't replace these cards anymore, I would have to give photocopies to people to play with, and or encourage them to bring their own journals. So if you didn't want them writing on this, they could write on a separate paper. So we've got the novice reading sheet here and things that they can consider as they go through the game. We have the enthusiast and everything they can consider, as well as the adept. So it gives you a chance to put your name and your date. And I guess the idea was that each person would take this home. But as again, it's going to deplete your set. So you'd have to figure that part out. Now, it does come with 3 dice. And the idea is you roll 1 dice initially until you land on a major card on the board. Then you can use 2 or 3, whatever you choose. They gave these as game pieces, but I liked in the handout that it said if you have a group of people, maybe encourage them to bring a charm that means something to them or a game piece that they can distinguish theirs a little bit better from everyone else's. So that is that. And then in this pile here, it says to put it in a nice little cup or bag. And these are things that you give freely to people to help encourage them on their journey. So if somebody gets a card and everybody at the game board's discussing it and offering information, if somebody really, keys into what you're going through and helping you through your little turmoil, then, they would give you or you would give them these little coins. They're like little love tokens, I guess. So let's move this aside. And then we get to the game board. Now you can see that it was put out by Schiffer. So there's the little card there. And it gives us some information here. I'll let you look at the game board there. So it says, this keyword deck is designed as a simple tool to prepare the novice for the journey of tarot. And the few words or phrases on each card are only the surface of what the tarot has to offer. So look deeply into the pictures, and that's why you bring your own tarot deck. And every game player for the party night could bring their own tarot deck. It's something that they're going to be working with as they move around the board. So you're meant to look at the pictures and play the game and, delve deeper into the layers of the meanings with the help of your fellow players. And it's meant to be enjoyable. And I think it would be if you could get 3 or 4 people together to play the game? Be fun. So, what do you get? Well, you get the board game here, and it goes from the Fool all the way through. But what you do on the board game is you divide, for instance, here, upper left corner, these are all your court cards. So if you land on one of the things that says pick up one of these, you'd pick up one of these. And that's, for instance, the Knight of Cups. But if you brought your own deck, then you could, pull that out and pull the Knight of Cups and follow along with what it's suggesting here. Then you have the majors in a pile. And those are some of the words that you might get there. And then, if you were to land on a star, you can see one right there, then you might be asked through the deck, if you pulled this one, to do all of this and record the card and the information on your reading sheet. It's really fun. So if you were to get this card, you could use your own deck, shuffle and draw a card, and take a moment to look at the imagery, place the card face down, and describe what you remember about it. So it's really teaching you to look at all the symbolism. So that's the star part. If you landed on a swirl, then you're going to pick up these ones here. And this is where, if you had your own deck, you could select the Nine of Swords and follow along with that information. And so it's going to have to be people you're comfortable with and comfortable sharing with. So we did the star, we did that, then we got the question mark here. So if you landed on any of these, this is where it's suggesting use the court cards only. And you'd follow along and do all of that. And then down below, scoot this up, you have each of the suits. So the idea is you'd shuffle all this, and maybe even people playing the game would take turns shuffling so that everybody's energy's into it. If they've brought their own charm piece, they've got that to play with, and that makes it more personal. So if I just read a few of the instructions, it does say, and they're quite good. They're not a bad size, and if I didn't say so, there is the author, Jude Alexander. And at one time, she did have a site you could go on and offer updates to you, get information, and share, I guess, some of your experiences, but that doesn't seem to exist anymore. So it does say that you roll the one die to start and move the number of spaces indicated, and you continue to use only that one die until you hit one of the major cards on your way around. And so the start is over here. So you don't put your game piece on the Fool, you have to just roll your way through. And as you land on the various spaces, you refer to the rules. If you land on a major arcana, from the major arcana stack, you pull out the card whose name and number match the space on which you've landed. So you would be looking for, if you landed here, the number 10 fortune card from the major arcanas. And what else? Some slight variation may be present in the title of the archetype from your deck to this. So you have to bear that in mind. So you're going to look at the imagery, and it says here, state a number from 1 to 5. So if you landed on something, then you might pick 1 to 5. You have a choice of any of those numbers. And your player on the right will find on the major arcana questions card 5 under the heading for that archetype, and they will ask you the question corresponding to it. So if we went, let's just see, I'll do a little pause and see if I can find that. I got it. So if you were to land, for instance, on the Fool right at the start, and the player on the right asked you what number you wanted, you would pick, and then they would read you that question. So number 4, what new path are you taking? So it teaches you as you go around through the game several times, questions that you might want to ask yourself if you got that card. And this can be beneficial just for playing with a new tarot deck. So there's all kinds of ways to play with this. If you land on a spiral or a star, you select the top card. And you read the card aloud and you ask for help from other players if needed and show gratitude by giving those blessing coins we talked about. So you write the name of the tarot card encountered on your reading sheet or in your journal and any significant comments that are made on behalf of that reading that you're getting as you tune into what other people are saying and bring your own insights to the game. Then you return the card to its stack and the activity card to the bottom of its pile. So, really kind of cool. It gives you variations on how to play. When you get the infinity, I've got to see where that is. Oh, here. If you land on an infinity symbol, it gives you free will and infinite possibility in play here. You get up, you stretch, you dance, you review an insight with the group, or you simply grab a rest or a snack. It's just encouraging you to be creative. Variations might be to reward questions presented throughout the game to address more specifically the theme or focus you have chosen, not reward. So you have free will to change some of the things around. When you're instructed to select from a particular suit, use your deck that you have brought along. If you land on a spiral, do not select an activity card. Instead, draw from the full deck at random and allow it to inspire you. Use any of the reading sheets provided. You don't have to follow along with it. If you're a beginner and you want to choose a different sheet, go ahead. You can use any spread that you choose instead of doing the reading sheets. Begin play at the universe. So if you didn't want to start here and go all the way around, you could start here and go this way, because some people do like to work from the universe back to the Fool. So that's kind of fun. It does suggest, if you want to do it and be the facilitator, that you're the one providing the board. You give the people some insights. There's food and everything else. It's meant to be a gathering and fun. And each person could take turns hosting the party if they had one board set. And it does say to bring that sacred object to be your game piece. You can have a table space away from the game board to allow people some privacy to think about what they're going through. So it's not meant to be a game that's rushed through. You could set up, for instance, a crafting area where game pieces and or treasury items can be made for gameplay. It is endless. It talks about the court cards. You can see here some more instructions, but you get the idea. It really is a sweet little thing to have. And if I had 3 or 4 friends to play with, it would be an absolute gas. And each person bringing their own deck is going to allow you to, see what other people are working with. And maybe you would be, enticed by someone else's deck. Maybe you could even do it as a surprise, like everybody brings a deck, but yet it's in a special bag and whoever the player is gets to pick, It could be so much fun. So I thought I would show you one of my treasures that's in pristine shape. And I'm glad I bought it. So maybe down the road I'll run into some people that I could have some fun with and have a tarot night. I'm going to leave it at that. And if you have a board game that's for tarot and you want to share that idea, I'd love to see it. I haven't seen any other board games for tarot. So have a fabulous day.